I came to Schechter and it was a fast-paced class and I was being pushed. So even though it wasn't necessarily as many minutes spent in the classroom, it didn't matter because all the minutes that I was in the classroom were meaningful minutes where I was fully learning and I was not messing around. I wasn't writing essays where I wasn't getting feedback. I was getting feedback on everything I was doing. I had a teacher over my shoulder all the time, just helping me and guiding me through it.
I felt that Schechter prepared me academically very well. I actually transferred to Schechter in order to get an academic challenge, and then they really gave that to me and a lot more. I came especially for math, and because of Schechter, I was able to enter ninth grade being in a class with all seniors.
The speaking and writing skills I emerged from like the English program in specific, just because people were talking about math before, and went into high school with, has carried through high school and college. I've thought that I was much better prepared as a writer and as a speaker, being able to get up in front of a room and present and articulate all the intangible skills that come along with being a good student and a good leader is stuff that is just reinforced every single day. I came out of it with an understanding about how to be uncomfortable in social situations and rely on my self-confidence and the skills that I learned and acquired from Schechter to really like put trust in myself in order to, get acclimated. And I think on the other side of that, there wasn't really a point in my transition into high school where I wasn't comfortable because of the extremely strong relationships that I had built from Schechter. Even when I was trying to make friends with new kids from the public high school, I still saw my Schechter friends every weekend. And that has continued to this day whenever I'm home.
Critical thinking is like the most important thing I learned at Schechter, analyzing those Jewish texts. It wasn't really about what we actually read. It was more so the process. So going into, let's say, an English class it was just easy. It was just analyzing text because that's what most high school classes are about. Besides the math, which I think all the Schechter teachers are phenomenal at, the English ability to analyze the text and run through a paper, get out the meaning and the summary, all that was just really much easier.
I still am in a dual curriculum, but Schechter prepared me for that, obviously. And it also it has enhanced my critical thinking skills and my ability to analyze texts, which has helped me on standardized texts, other writing assignments, really reading anything. So I think that without the dual curriculum, I would just not have the same skill level that I have today.
That the dual curriculum, learning another language, especially studying the Bible and Mishnah, which a lot of people are skeptical about, cutting away from time spent learning math and science and all the important subjects. I think it provides the student with, kind of like what Janie was saying, this critical and analytical framework that you just don't get from just studying science, just studying English. Your ability to analyze a text in any class, whether it's in social studies, a world history class, in American history, is you just have a completely different lens that I don't think, having gone through some of the hard classes in high school, my academic peers had, just because they didn't spend that time arguing in Mishnah and Chumash, which is Bible, and in Hebrew about, various different things and training your mind to think in a different way. And even in college today, surrounded by so many smart kids, they're like, how do you know how do you even think of, this and that? And I'm like, I promise you, it's because I was arguing about what the old rabbis had to say about this and that back in the day. So it's really something phenomenal that I just don't think you get through any other education, whether like private school or not. I think the dual curriculum and learning in another language is just unparalleled.
Focusing only on academics, I know I and the others around me that went to Schechter, because I know a couple went to Highland Park with me. We all did very well. I know we all had these study habits that were learned from Schechter that others didn't have. And I think that we were all doing very well. And those that also struggled, those with learning issues, they got that extra help at Schechter that allowed them to thrive in high school too.
It just goes to show you how much bigger like Schechter is than the classroom. And it's just shown in the relationships with your teachers. Like they do so much with you. I think earlier we spoke about the Israel trip or Shabbatons or field trips or anything, Shabbat dinners or anything. It's just like, because the community is so engaged around Judaism and it's such a tight community, like the relationship it's so massive. And then it translates to academics too, obviously, beyond just being a nurturing community. I just think it's really
Great. Thanks, Lexi.
There's
Kobe, go
just
ahead.
one quick thing. My mom and I always joke about how if I'm ever feeling down at this point in my life, all I have to do is go and visit Schechter again. Because you know, I walk in and all the teachers, they like roll out the red carpet. They cannot be more excited to see every single student, no matter who it is. And the joy that, you know, they get from seeing their former students in whatever position they are, whatever juncture of life is, it's like, it's heart melting like that. I just thinking about walking back in the building right now, walking the different classrooms, it's amazing. And my mom is right. Every time I've done it, it's just, I've walked out of Schechter so happy.
If I needed a letter recommendation from Schechter to GBN, it'd be very hard to choose what teachers, just as I knew so many of them so well.
The other thing I would say is empathy, which is like, I think something that is who I am today and probably the largest part of myself today, and how Schechter taught me that is in tefillah. One thing that stuck with me is we had a really long discussion about intention and kavanah. And I think about it often in education or in my relationships, and empathy is just something that stuck with me, and treating others with respect. I remember Dr. Kushner every morning on the announcements used to say, choose actions and words that make the world a better place. And that's something that sticks with you when you hear it every single day. It's really ingrained in you. And the last thing is, yeah. The last thing is just the importance of Judaism, like having Shabbat every Friday night and going to shul and celebrating the holidays and bat mitzvahs is something that is so integral to my life, and something I've really centered community around, that also allows me to engage in like various Jewish organizations that just like enrich my life so much. But really empathy and critical thinking and questioning, things that stuck with me.
Great.
Too.
My favorite Schechter memory is probably Kahilo every morning. So we would get to school, get off the bus, go up the stairs, and then I would have 20 or so minutes to relax in a home-based type of room with the same people every day and the same teacher. The grade is divided into a handful of these classrooms. It's just a time to bond and not think about anything academic, school related at all, and just connect to each other. And this goes back to the teacher question. It builds a relationship with the teacher too. Any problem I had, I could go right to my Kahila teacher, and he was there to help me.
I'm pretty confident that everyone else would say the Israel trip. I mean, it's a staple at Schechter, but it was just the culmination of 9 years of just phenomenal learning about Israel and immersement into the Jewish culture. And I just think that it was not only that, but a bonding experience overall that made it just that much harder to leave.
I learned to advocate for myself. Started off with the Kahila teacher, and then it spread to other teachers. If I needed anything in any class, I went directly to the teacher, and that has spread also to high school now because of the skills I learned at Schechter.
You know, maybe a month into Schechter, one of my friends in my homeroom told her parents that I was new, and their family invited my family over for Shabbat dinner, which was not really something my family had done before, like gone to a friend's for Shabbat dinner, because we didn't have that many friends who also had Shabbat dinner on Friday nights like that. And all of our other friends and their parents were there. And I realized that like all their parents are best friends, and they all have Shabbat dinner together every Friday night. And then I didn't have to make the choice of being with my friends or being with my family. I was able to do both. And I think that it's the general idea at Schechter that you have those shared values. And that's something that is really important. And obviously it makes all the memories even more meaningful because you just have that special bond over the values.
Is the community, like everyone is saying, it is truly like palpable the second you walk into the building how cohesive everyone is, from the teachers to the parents to the students to all the faculty. It is a community like nothing I've ever seen. I know there's like the cliche, it takes a village to raise, like it truly is the embodiment of it takes a village and a community to raise a kid. And some of the fondest memories of my childhood were those same Shabbat dinners with my friends and their families, where unlike any other community, like regardless if you go to a private or public school, the underlying connection of Judaism and connecting through the tradition and the culture and the shared values, like kind of reiterating what everyone was saying, it makes it stronger than just another private school, you know, where you're getting a good education, or any other public school where you have a strong community. It's like the Jewish backbone of the community that really makes it so strong, and the shared values and customs and desire to be together and inclusive, that it was just amazing, genuinely.
Outstanding.